Hi everyone. Yes, I'm filming. Diane here. I haven't made a video in quite some time. I just want to let you know, well, I've made shorts, but not all my viewers watch my shorts. So yes, I am making a video tonight. I'm out and about, but I want to get this up, before 6:30. I'm just going to upload it with my 5G. That's why I'm not making well, I didn't wait till I get home because I've got stuff to do. It's now 5:40 p.m. on Sunday night, and I have all the lights on in my car because I'm in a dark parking structure. But anyways, let's see. I will be making a taste test video tonight. I might go to a restaurant and bring home food. Otherwise, I've got food at home that I've never tried before, like from Trader Joe's, and I think it's from Gardein, some vegan meat. You know how I like trying those things. Well, this is like a barbecue with like a barbecue, some kind of sauce. It sounds good. I've never had it, but it's fake beef, whatever it is, or maybe it's fake pork. It's some kind of a riblet or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've had that for a while. And anyways, I am going to go to Trader Joe's tonight. They're open till 9. So I just wanted to tell you that I didn't want to upload this late, but tomorrow morning there will probably be a dancing short or my new video from a taste test. So Pacific time, and anytime between early, like 7 a.m. to like 11 a.m. Pacific time. I've got workers. This is kind of a vlog. Finally, my wall heater in my apartment is being replaced. It's been defective for a really long time. It's gas, and California is phasing out from like gas heaters and gas water heaters, but the management company still wants to install a gas heater rather than give me an electric. It's a wall heater. It's a really old building. I don't have central air. I have window air because my building was built in the mid 50s, and I guess they didn't have central air then. But anyways, by law, in California at least, or at least in Los Angeles, they have to provide heat. I don't think they have to provide air conditioning, even though where I live it's really hot. But they have to provide heat. And anyways, I ended up having to call the LA County Housing Department, and an inspector came, and I told him, I told the manager my heater wasn't working, and I needed a replacement. I'll tell you why it can't be fixed. That's it's a safety law. But anyways, okay, I told my manager in early October. I've got a text from her acknowledging that she knows from October 3rd, okay? Tomorrow is December 1st. It took over 2 months to get this done. That's how sucky my management company is. And, it's a big company, Mawson Company. They own tons of buildings, apartment buildings, or they manage, I should say, in LA area, I think maybe all of Southern California. I even looked at another Mawson Company building years ago in Studio City. But anyways, it sucks, okay? So first of all, they sent like 6 or 7 people to get an estimate because I wanted a licensed person, okay? They were going to hire someone unlicensed to save money. You need to get a HVAC licensed person because this is, gas, and it has to be inspected by LA County Building and Safety, okay? So the first few people they sent didn't speak English. I knew they weren't licensed. So they can't fix it because it's some kind of a law or building code that defective wall heaters, and can't be fixed. They need to be replaced. Anyways, I had the gas company, Southern California Gas Company, which is, the utility company, come out, and they told me it needed to be replaced. And anyways, I sent that to the manager. It took a while to, for her to finally get on the ball, but it's really the management company. They're in charge. But Anyways, yeah, and the manager doesn't live on premises, which is also breaking the law. In California, if a apartment building has more than like, I don't know, 18 units or something, there's supposed to be a live-in manager. And anyways, I told the housing inspector that too, but that's another issue. There used to be a live-in manager until about 3 years ago, when I heard she got fired, and the new lady they hired lives elsewhere. She probably gets free rent in Van Nuys, which is, cheaper rent. Maybe they don't want to rent out to someone in my building because they could get more money than the apartment in Van Nuys. So, because my rent, okay, the new people moving in are paying almost $2,000 for my one bedroom. I'm not paying much less, okay? Unfortunately, when I moved in, the rent was already pretty high, but yeah, in my building, the one bedrooms are going for like 19 something, plus you have to pay water, sewer, and trash, which for me is $60 a month. That you share it with the whole building or everyone that isn't grandfathered. Okay, so yeah, I'm paying just a little bit, less than new people, which I'm pissed off about because they won't give me like I want. This is like a rant about my apartment building, but they won't give me stainless steel appliances like the new units do have, and they're paying a little more than me, and they're getting stainless steel appliances like they're getting, a refrigerator and a stove that's really modern. I have my own refrigerator. I could have used theirs, but it was white, and when I moved in, but yeah, I brought my own because I liked it better than the one they were going to give me here. And my stove is ugly. It's like a weird greenish yellow. I don't use it. I had the gas turned off when I first moved in. The gas company, I had them, turn off the pilot because it'll save money probably turning off the pilot. And the only time I cook is in my toaster oven or microwave, and I am getting an air fryer. So yeah, I can pretty much do everything, and I have an electric skillet. Okay, so I can make burgers, eggs, I just never got into stove cooking, and it does heat the whole place up, and I don't have central air, so the air conditioner, doesn't always kick in to the especially to the kitchen. It's kind of far away, and I just prefer it. It doesn't even have a dishwasher. That's how old the building is. Because, dishwashers have been around, I know, since the 60s at least, because a home that I used to live in that was built in the 60s, I believe it was a built-in dishwasher. I mean, I think it was originally had a dishwasher when it was brand new, because only one person lived there before my dad and stepmom. And when they moved in, it already had a dishwasher. So I don't know if the new people installed it. It was built in like 65, the last house they lived in, and yeah, they put it in, but it had plenty of room, like for a built-in dishwasher. So yeah, it sucks. My old place had a dishwasher, but that's one reason why I use paper plates, because I don't like washing dishes, and it's so easy, and they're so cheap, and they're really not expensive, paper plates, and I do use sometimes, glass cups, but even my silverware, I usually use like heavy duty plastic. That's, more expensive than the cheap, little tiny utensils. But yeah, I don't like doing dishes. I got spoiled with a dishwasher at my last place, where I had a lot of dishes and a lot of silverware or cutlery, flatware. So I would only, do dishes every so often because it was just me. Unless I had someone over for dinner, whatever. But I had like 2 sets of plates, of like bowls and plates, and 2 sets of flatware. And, it took a while to fill up my dishwasher because, I would fill it up before I used it because I was paying for the heat, no, I wasn't paying for the hot water, actually, the electricity. This place is so cheap that I live in now. I have to pay my own hot water because I have my own hot water heater in my unit. Whoever built this building put individual water heaters in each unit. all the other buildings I've lived in, the water and the heated water is free. This building does charge you for water, which a lot of buildings do now. At least in LA, they, divide it between the other tenants. And, for someone like me that lives by myself, I have to pay part of, like, even units that have, like, the 2 bedrooms that sometimes have, 3 people, like, well, we have some with 4, like 2 parents and 2 kids share a room. So they use a lot more hot water to do baths and stuff. And I don't even wash dishes, so I'm not really using hot water. I mean, I do on occasion, but I wash, like my electric skillet and stuff like that. And my spatula when I make eggs, I wash that in the sink. But anyways, yeah, so getting back to the rant, I'm going to title this, I'm going to talk about the rant. So if anybody's watching this and looks up, I'm not going to put the management company name, but Moss and Company. After I moved in, I ended up Googling it. They've got tons of bad reviews on Yelp. And their office is in a real ritzy part in Sherman Oaks, near where I used to live. It's on Ventura Boulevard, at the corner of Sepulveda and Ventura, which is a real expensive, high rent to have an office there. In those buildings, that's a real high rent corner. It's across the street from the Sherman Oaks Galleria. And I used to live like 3 blocks from it, but my area of Sherman Oaks is still good, but that's probably a little more ritzy to be near there, a little more classy. But and I lived in a newer building that was built in '88, so it had central air and the whole bit. But anyways, I had to call the housing department. The guy he contacted the manager, who doesn't speak very good English. And like I said, she doesn't live in my building. She actually manages 3 buildings, the one she lives in and 2 other, according to the email she sends me. Like, the header, the bottom header has her name and then 3 apartment buildings names. 2 are in Van Nuys, and they're nice buildings, but they're newer than mine. They probably have central air, but they're like sketchy neighborhoods, like near Van Nuys and Sherman, near like Sepulveda and Sherman Way, which is, kind of sketchy, Plus, I'd be the minority living there. It's almost all Hispanic. She's Hispanic. But anyways, and the other one is sketchy too. So where I live, you guys can Google Sherman Oaks on Wikipedia. It's gone down, but we have a high percentage of non-Hispanic whites. When I first moved here, it was really high, but it's, the Hispanics have taken over, a lot more. And there's several in my building, and I think they've got like a few kids. I think they want to send their kids to the good schools because, like where there are a lot of white kids, maybe white teachers, because the teachers prefer to teach in the white schools too, but it's supposedly really hard to get in to, the schools near Ventura Boulevard where I live, and it's high seniority that gets them or something. And, new teachers are getting like Pacoima if they're, in the Valley. So, because of that, living in my building, they could go to like Sherman Oaks Elementary, which is one of the best. I think it's racially mixed or a lot of Caucasian, okay? And they do like take, like students that that aren't zoned to it, can get in, by a lottery or something, and getting chosen. So there are other races other than white, but there's a good majority of Caucasian there. And then Dixie Canyon, which is where my sister went, I think that's the best school, elementary school in LA Unified School District. Okay, and either one, I think both are zoned to my apartment building, so that's probably why we have a lot of Hispanic families. Actually, maybe 3, and then there's some Middle Eastern families that, have little kids, wanting to send them to the good school, elementary school. But our schools here in LA Unified are mostly Hispanic, at least where I live. And there's gangs. Even in elementary school, I have a friend that taught elementary. She ended up going back to school and becoming a therapist, a mental health therapist, and then got her PhD in psychology, became a clinical psychologist. But she was a teacher for like 10 years at, LA Unified Elementary. And some of her students, I think she said she had a fifth graders that were gang members. Okay, and this was maybe, I don't know, probably like 20 years, more than 20 years ago when she was teaching. But it's kind of, people don't like to teach here, and a lot of people don't. And they also have a lot of emergency credentials. Like, I could do that. I have a bachelor's degree. All you need is a bachelor's degree, and you need to pass a test. Is it called the CBEST? It's a test where, it says you have basic math, English. I probably take a prep for it because, I went all the way to statistics and calculus in college, but, by the time I was with my math classes, but I forgot a lot of it. So the test does have, I don't know, at least up to Algebra 2, I'm sure, because that was a requirement for me to get into college and a university as a freshman, and which is geometry, algebra, and algebra 2, and statistics was I was a math whiz. It was easy for me, but that's challenging for many people, especially psychology majors. A lot of them get tutors, and I knew friends when I was a psych major that took it at a junior college because it was supposedly easier, and there was a professor to get that everybody wanted because it was easier, and then transfer, then take it at Cal State Northridge. But I did really well. I got A's. I got A's in all my math classes. But anyways, yeah, I'd have to refresh. And all I would need, I don't even need a credential. It's called an emergency credential. And it's not a substitute. You can actually teach. I don't know if they're still offering it, but they've been offering it for years because people just don't want to teach, and it doesn't pay really well. And an ex of mine worked as a teacher and is now retired and makes a fantastic pension, okay? So if you are a full-time teacher in LA Unified, at least if you're maybe in your 40s now and you've been doing it a while, by the time you retire, you're going to get a fantastic pension. Because she's in her, she's 65, I think. She retired a couple of years, no, I think she's a little older than 65, but the pension, much more than mine, okay? So that's the good thing. You don't get paid a lot while you're working, but the pension is fantastic at LA Unified. So anyways, and the benefits, I think, after you retire, I get some, I get a discount on my health insurance, but I still have to pay. It used to be free, or if I took Kaiser, it would have been free many years ago if I would have retired, but they changed it where retirees have to still contribute to their health insurance. But I pay less for Kaiser than I'd pay, with better coverage than I would for someone, that didn't have it retired from AT&T. I would probably go with a different plan with higher co-payments and stuff like that. But I'm getting a plan that for what I'm paying, if I was paying out of pocket, it wouldn't be as good of a plan. I'd have more co-payments. I'd have, I think I'd even have a deductible every year and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm thankful. But anyways, to get back, okay, finally they hired someone with a license, okay? They sent a whole bunch of people to get quotes. Moss & Company must be really cheap on who they hire, and it can't be repaired, okay? If it's an old heater, it has to be replaced, if it's a gas heater. They didn't want to do electric, which is, gas heaters are going to be phased out. Natural gas, I think it was 2030 or something, they're going to be phased out in California, where they won't be installing new ones, but they can still replace here and I think install, as long as they're vented, okay? The ventless heaters are still legal in other states, wall heaters, but not in California. So anyways, then they had, okay, once they found the vendor, okay, it's called a vendor, but it's actually a contractor, okay. I got the license number. I wanted to make sure it was legit because, this is dangerous if something goes wrong and I have the heater on, it's safety. And that's one reason why they've changed a bunch of laws with gas appliances in California, plus to save the environment. But I don't want some fire happening, by some amateur, playing around with the gas line. And just to work with the gas line, like if you're installing a stove or what else? A water heater, you need a permit from, okay, that's another thing. You need a permit from LA County Department of Building and Safety. Okay, they're the building code people. So anyways, finally they hired someone. I got their business license. I talked to them over the phone, got their business license number. I checked on building and safety. I checked on the HVAC contractor's license. They were licensed. Then I found out their address. This was kind of fishy. Is at a church, okay? And I asked the lady on the phone, I said, I Googled your address and it's a church. And she said, yeah, we're on a church property. And I'm like, so it still sounds illegit, but yeah, they have a business license. Their address is on the business license, the same one as the church. And anyways, they applied for a permit. It took them a long time to get it. Couple weeks at least, and then I saw the permit. Okay, building and safe. Okay, they're going to install it on tomorrow, December 1st, which took forever. They've already had the permit and everything like a week and a half ago, but they were too busy to come, before tomorrow, plus the holidays and stuff. So, anyways, I wanted to make sure I got a licensed contractor. And even the building, the housing inspector put that on the notice, okay, that was given to the either the owner or the management company. Anyways, he's going to come back, the housing inspector from LA City Housing, okay, that's who I complained to initially, is going to come out, I think it's the 17th of December, to check everything. But building and safety is going to check it first, because I'm not going to use it until it's checked by building and safety. And they won't know when until after they install it. And, it's been cold. This really sucks. When in October, when I told the manager it wasn't cold, but this morning it's getting chillier in LA now. Oh, hold on. Please press okay. I have my power on my car. 1 second. Okay, press okay. Let's see. Okay. I have my ignition on. It was going to automatically go off because I'm idle. But I've got my lights on, so I don't really, these in-car lights, because it's dark, I don't really want to use them without the car running. I probably won't get a dead battery, but so anyways, they're coming tomorrow. It's an all-day appointment, okay? I said, can you give me a window? She goes, the window is from 9 to 6, okay? And she goes, if we don't finish, we will be coming back, okay? And, I even asked her, can you make 2 appointments? One, a half day and the other half day? Because, I want to be home, and the manager's not going to stay in my apartment for, 9 hours or whatever, and, to supervise. And they can let them in, but they're not going to be around, and I don't feel safe. If it was just like a plumber and I wasn't home, I wouldn't mind, because she would stay, probably. But yeah, I don't want, she would drive from her apartment to come to my apartment. I think that's a rule with managers. They have to they do that so you don't have to be home if you work, But anyways, yeah. So I am going to probably be on YouTube a lot tomorrow, and I'm going to make this short. This has been really long. But anyways, hopefully my air conditioner will get fixed, and not my heater. We'll get the old one removed, the new one installed, and it's in my living room. They wouldn't put it anywhere else. I said, can you just give me an electric, which most places new, are using now, at least in LA, electric wall heaters. And they said they'd have to do the circuitry and all this stuff, and it would cost too much. And then I looked, and building and safety would have to check too. And I heard the permits are expensive. So, my company wanted to hire probably, non-licensed person who wouldn't be getting a permit, and, the whole thing would be cheaper. I can't believe they sent like 10 people to give a quote, And like I said, the first ones were, I knew, not licensed. That's why I called building and safety. One reason why, and plus it took forever. But yeah, so wish me luck. This is a rant. Anyways, I might make a dancing short. I haven't made a new one in a while. I've just kind of used AI to add on to previous ones. I think the last one I made was like 2 months ago. I mean, with no AI. But yeah, I might make one tonight. And I am going to do a taste test. I don't know when. Actually, the taste test might air later, because even the next day, because now that this video has gotten so long, I might wait until Tuesday to upload it, because this is, long. Okay, take care, everyone. It's now 6:00 p.m. Hopefully this will upload fast. All right. And, yeah. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching, and oh, my necklace. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with videos coming up soon. Okay, bye.